Hello everybody, how are you doing? It is the festive season here in Hong Kong. The weather is gorgeous. People are wrapping presents, generally shopping, eating too much, drinking too much, having a good time as we come to the solstice. Winter solstice is just around the corner. It's tomorrow, in fact, as I'm recording this. I'll be able to figure out what day it is that I'm recording it. And then, of course, we've got the big Christmas celebrations. And whatever you are doing, I hope you are having a good one. Now, it's time for my tech predictions video. I do this every year. I try and figure out what might happen in the next year in terms of tech. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. By no means quote me. You can look back at this in a year and see how much I messed up or was actually a crystal ball gazing genius. Who knows? So 10 things, 10 predictions I think will happen in 2025, which sounds like it should be the future. It is the future, but it's not. We're not in flying cars still and I don't have a jetpack. So number one, here in Hong Kong, we are finally going to get a new data protection law. Perhaps not the one you expected. We're going to get something called the Protection of Critical Infrastructures Ordinance. It's already a bill, it's already going through LegCo. It's essentially meaning that the government, well the authorities rather, can designate, the commissioner I believe will actually be, can designate those they deem to be operating critical infrastructure, something that's crucial here in Hong Kong, and making sure it has adequate protection in place. That's essentially making sure that it can't easily be hacked, essentially making sure it's got adequate data security in place, security in general so it can't be brought down. Very, very similar, I would say, to the cybersecurity law that we got in China, with the first of their trifecta of 3 data protection laws, which suggests to me that not after we get the critical infrastructure ordinance, we will also get a data security ordinance, and we might get a personal information protection ordinance. Now, the law itself we've got for this one, it's not following the China model completely. There are elements of it. It's a bit of a mishmash of what you would expect to find in the West versus China. And I kind of like it. I think it's perfectly reasonable. It actually imposes for the first time some pretty hefty responsibility on those who are operating critical systems. And we need it. So it's good. More work for those who are working in data security, more headaches for those who suddenly find that they're labelled as critical infrastructure providers. But it's something that's a good thing in my view. Now, a bad thing, it's my second prediction. I think over the course of 2025, with Trump going into the presidency, with China being very wary about how it's viewed on the world stage at the moment, with a lot of geopolitical tensions, we're going to see what I would describe as silofication. Made that word up completely, but this is where jurisdictions or technologies or technology providers, but in this case I think probably jurisdictions, retreat into silos. They go for domestic tech. The whole international collaboration model of technology starts to fall away. This happened last time we had a tech war when Trump was in power. It was still going on a bit when Biden was, well, Biden still in power. Well, Biden's in power, but I think it's going to get worse. All depends really on how Trump reacts in terms of tech. We know that he's a bit of a fan of the tech bros, which brings me to prediction number 3. In the US, we will see the return, the full-on return of the tech bros, the crypto bros, all of the people who are making a lot of money. We see essentially a return to the Silicon Valley heyday of people just basically winning fortunes, losing fortunes, doing incredible things like a Wolf of Wall Street of tech. That's going to happen. We'll have some great innovation, some dangerous crashes as well. What I think we'll see some interesting things happening in the social media space. That's partly because of the silofication I've talked about at all. But I think it's going to be an interesting time. We may find we get Elon Musk as president in a few years. I've got a feeling about this, which may kind of hoping it's not true because he has some pretty weird views. But given that he's essentially part of Trump's government, as far as I can tell, it's going to see how, it'll be interesting to see how big a role technology actually plays in the US. It's going to be, I think it'll be formidable and really quite exciting. And number 4, one place where tech may not be doing as well is the EU. Unless something dramatic changes, and it might, we'll see. I think the EU will continue to isolate itself in terms of technology innovation. Not because it's not trying, not because it's got some great things going on there, but rather because people are wary of the laws it has in place and the fact that it does tend to regulate technology more quickly. It's first to market. It did it very successfully with the GDPR. The AI Act, the jury is still out. They're quite quick to impose fines on technology providers who are operating in the EU. I think that's going to put some investors off. We may find the EU becomes a little bit isolated, although we've seen a lot of changes in terms of governments in the EU, so maybe things will change. But I'm still going for the isolationist view of the EU, which will be interesting given what's happening on the world stage at the moment. And number 5, crypto, of course. Bitcoin is through the roof, thanks to Trump. It will probably stay through the roof for a while, then it will inevitably go up or down. I think it will be legitimized as an actual proper currency. I mean, it's kind of getting there already. But I think actually acceptance of Bitcoin will grow. be easier and easier for people to buy in. I also think there'll be some disastrous losses when it crashes, like any investment, but it will be, I think it's already being accepted more and more around the world. Hong Kong has just licensed 4 more exchanges, crypto exchanges, which is a game changer here. They've really committed to it in terms of the Hong Kong presence, the Hong Kong government's willingness to actually embrace crypto, which years ago it was very unsure of. But it will continue to rise. Crypto is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All right, let's stay in, I talked about Hong Kong, let's stay in Asia. China. One of the problems we've got with China is it's going through a pretty difficult time economically at the moment. It's had a perfect storm, and certainly we're feeling the aftermath of it here in Hong Kong too. It can't be helped. I think that there will be concerns about, this goes to the scientification point, of Chinese tech that we didn't see before. I was reading an article today saying that TP-Link, the suggestions that that might be used for spying by China. We're going to see a lot of that, a lot of paranoia. There'll be concerns, I think, about China dumping tech, which the EU is very wary about. I think China's going to be a little bit of a villain, or at least perceived as a villain on the technology stage for a little while, which in many ways is very unfair, because there's some incredible innovation coming out of China, but the world is a bit shouty. Everyone wants to have someone that they can blame for when things are going wrong, but there we are. As a result of that, in terms of the silentification, the fact that people are wary of what's happening in China, we're going to get another tech war. We had a tech war which doesn't, I know it sounds like it's from Star Wars, it's not. It's just essentially battles over who regulates whose tech, whether tech's allowed in certain jurisdictions. We're going to get that. Trump will bring that in, I'm sure, partly to protect the US market more than anything else, not necessarily because he's worried about data privacy, spying or anything, but that's going to happen for sure. I mean, it was a mainstay of when he was president before. It will remain that way. One of the big elements of this tech war is going to be my next prediction, number 8, AI. AI will go properly mainstream. People will forget, and I think they already have forgotten, that it was such a massive revolution just a year or two ago. I'm seeing so many products that just embrace AI without anyone really knowing it's there. It's become just another piece of what you would use in software engineering, which is good and is what it should be. Everyone was worried it would be taken over by robots and put into work in camps, concentration camps built by AI to put humans in. That hasn't been the case, thank God. It's not going to be the case. I don't think so. People might do that, we will see. But I very much think we're in a position where essentially AI is going to be in every product we use. Probably doesn't need to be, but people will use it as a selling point. It's the way it is. But yeah, if you're not using AI, check. You probably are. I bet you are. I bet some of the things, some of the services you use, even if you're just using an Apple iPhone, I bet there's AI involved there somewhere. Now, people forget that AI was such a revolution, but we will see in terms of the embrace of AI, the embrace of the tech bros, that people, the rich will get richer, the tech bros will get richer. We're going to see more inequality at the tech level. I feel like we've always had this. We've always been in a position where those who have access to tech are inevitably more successful. And if some of this tech is walled off, then we'll find that's not the case. That may breed contempt. There always a bit, and I think part of the reason Trump got elected was some of this. There's already a concern that governments, organizations, companies, particularly technology companies, are not looking after people, which does breed contempt, does breed dissatisfaction. Rich get richer, poor get poorer, those sort of arguments. I think that's number 9. That's going to increase. And we may see some weird regulation coming out in some jurisdictions. We will see. My last one, which is really not much of a prediction, is something incredible hopefully will happen. I'm expecting a new game changer in technology. One of my plans for Christmas is to play the new Indiana Jones video game. I've got a kick-ass graphics card in my computer, though it is about to be outdated. There's a new one about to come out, which can do incredible things in terms of using AI. And I'm blown away by it. I'm always so fascinated about technology and the things that come out that you weren't expecting, the things that really change things. And I really do think that we're going to see something we weren't expecting, some sort of technology, hopefully not based in weapons, who knows, given how the world is, will really revolutionize what we're doing. So that's my predictions. Number 1, new Hong Kong data law. Number 2, silentification is going to come into effect. Number 3, liberalization, return of the tech bros. Number 4, isolation from the EU. Number 5, crypto will be more accepted, continue to go up. It will be more and more accepted. It will become a legitimate currency. Number 6, Chinese tech. There'll be lots of concerns about that. There will be concerns about them dumping technology. What I should have added in that is that the race for semiconductors could get quite nasty with people trying to make sure they've got access to them, particularly if something happens with Taiwan. Which brings next to the return of the tech war, which is number 7. Number 8, properly mainstream AI. Number 9, a concern that technology is breeding inequality. It's very much a socio-economic one. And number 10, some new exciting game changer in tech. I reckon maybe 4 of those I'll be right on. What do you reckon? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Have a fantastic Christmas celebration, whatever you're doing, Hanukkah, what it's solstice. I don't know all the festivals. Evidently, I don't seem to know any of them apart from Christmas. That's really terrible, but I don't really pay attention. For me, holidays is just an excuse to play with more cool tech or listen to some records. But I hope you've had a great year. I'll be back in 2025 in the future with more videos, more insights, and all sorts of things that are going on. But have a good one, and I will see you, and I will see you. I was about to sound like, what was it? Nice to see you nice. Is that Bruce Forsyth, for those who know? It all went there. But I hope to see you very soon. Have a great festive period, and have a good one. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.